Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and we're back in the Great Keep of Dale. So, King Erna has something else to... Something else to tell us. Erna draws you near and speaks in a hushed tone. I would speak with you of Bryn, Beriathan. You have seen that he is sullen and distant, but this was not always so. The death of his father and, I don't doubt, kinship of his brother have been hard upon the boy. Do you recall when I asked you to gather the items for my lecture? I found Bryn where I knew I would find him, outside the walls of Dale. He has gone out much of late, and the danger in doing so is grave. I think perhaps that he dreams of the wider world and adventures a young person might have there. Would you talk to him of your own adventures? I do not know, yet I hope that it may allay some of his restlessness. Tell Bryn a story? Okay. Get away from me, you foolish man! Alright, yeah, I'll get it. Of course. Don't you worry. I'm on it. On the southern bridge. The southeastern bridge, it seems. Okay. Man, I love these bells. Already told you so, but... They sound amazing. It's a really small detail, but it adds so much to the overall attitude of the entire place. It gives you the sense of how important truly the bells are for Dale, which is something that the game does special emphasis on. There's an instance, a full fellowship instance, in which you defend Dale from the Jangovar attack that they've been telling us all about on the last few episodes, and the final stand is right next to the Great Keep and the tower, the bell tower. You see the guard, but Bryn is nowhere to be seen.
Yes.
The prince? No, The guard sighs. No, I speak the lie. He did come this way and paid me not to tell a soul. I was a fool to accept the bribe and will pay a steeper price, I know. But you must go after the prince and see that no harm comes to him. That is the greater matter. He crossed the bridge just now. If you hurry, I am sure you will be able to catch up with him.
Bryn, Prince of Dale, has fled into the wilds, his mind troubled by the turbulent worlds and his own place within it. What do you want?
What do you want of me, Beriathan? Have you come to mock me again, or to shame me before my mother and brother? Look around you. Beyond Dale's walls, our kingdom hangs by a thread. We say the Easterlings are our vanquished foes, and yet they roam freely through the Dale land. We say many things that are wrong. My friend has shown me much, and my eyes are open now. He has shown me how much I could accomplish if I were king instead of Bard. I see that mocking look in your eye. You think me a child. You disbelieve me. Come with me then, and you'll meet him for yourself. Then he can explain it. Oh, he does so much better than I do. It is peaceful out here in the wilds. This is the only place where I can clearly think. Dale is in ruins. My brother knows not how to rule. Those who attacked the town did us a favor. What? I see a different future if I were king. One which sees a partnership between the Dale lands and the East. Dale could become the most powerful empire in the North. My friend agrees with me. I have learned much about being a ruler. I have learned much of the East and of Rune. There are great powers in Rune. Now we're close to my friend. He will explain these truths to you. Before you stands Akshir, the Jangovar leader. Bryn, why have you brought this man here? This Warden only just tried to kill me. Do not worry, Akshir. Beriathan was only misguided. Well, keep your distance, man, and I will hold my quarrel with you. Akshir, explain to Beriathan your ideas of uniting Dale and Rune. There is no time for that now. We must complete your training. Take this blade. Take it. Know what you must do. Akshir, is there no other way? I need more time. After all I have taught you, and you ask this of me? There is no more time. Ah! What is going on, Beriathan? Beckon Bryn to you. Yeah, because we'll get a closer look at this guy in just a moment. The Weeping Warrior looks coldly at you. Akshir served his purpose. As did you, Warden. You came north as I knew you would. You followed the course I set. Smaug, Skata, Fingar, Hrimil, Thostir. What? The Weeping Warrior escapes. Not without leaving behind him another pile of rust, as you can see. A big one, or is this Akshir's blood? It can be either one of them. But it looks more like the rust that we've been finding all over the Dalelands.
Who was that?
Was that deadly creature? What Akshir to do with him? And why did it sound as if you were taking orders from him? Tell me, Beriathan. Akshir would take orders from nobody. He is wise and... Oh, what a fool I have been. And to think he had near convinced me to kill my own brother. Did you see? He gave me the knife to do it with. Ah, I can barely look at the awful thing. What sorcery did Akshir cast upon me? What shall I do? Flee in exile and never return? You speak gently to Bryn and convince him to return home. Be brave and honest, and confess the truth. That is the thing that most terrifies me, Beriathan, and so it must be the brave and right. The brave and right one.
Though I can barely face my family right now, I know that we should return.
And tell them of Rustman and of what evil deceits he is capable. Oh, you dropped me by the stable. You didn't. Alright, I'll bite. Well, I don't have any other choice, really. Let us go back to the keep. No, that was not the way. Lovely Dale, once again in Dale. Lovely day. Okay.
It is hard to believe that my brother has forgiven me.
Or that he ever shall. I even told him about the knife. Now I must do all I can to make it up to him. Ugh, what a fool I was. It is bitter, and I am ashamed. But I must hide from unpleasant truths no longer.
I am glad to hear that my brother is no longer in danger.
It will take longer to forgive him, but I'm sure that I shall. Much like the rebuilding of Dale and Lake Town. It is hard work and long, but we know it must be done. You have unraveled one more troubling scheme, Beriathan, one that ran perilously close to my own blood. For that I thank you. And yet...
While I am no expert in dragons, I know some who are.
Why is it then that I cannot stop thinking of the riddle of the dragon bones you told me of in the Long Lake? And now you tell me this Karazgar appeared holding a dragon's tooth? Although dragons play no small part in the history of the Dalelands, we know remarkably little about the beasts. The dwarves, however, they have long memories, and I know that dragons figure largely into their own histories. I think you should make your way to Erebor, Beriathan, and learn what you can about dragon's bones and teeth and what this man of rust might be after. Sure, and we also got finally, a long way coming, but we finally got quests of the Dalelands And we capped determination, and now we are doing a wit. So, quest of the Dale land, the title, the reputation, the virtue XP. You have aided the main of Dale. But now if we're doing a wit, let us do wit. Perfect. And okay, we'll continue in just a moment. 5 LOTRO points. We are ready now to go to Erebor, as you can see, but before we continue our journey north, we can actually go back to Sangemektura with the potsherds that we got on the previous episode. And then we'll start making our way to Erebor, sure. So just let me ride really quick to the Chayazir camp. Shouldn't be long now. What else do I have in here? That seems to be it. Lost Lores, Talk to Malmi in Erebor, yeah. Seem to be doing okay.
Hear me, friend.
You recount the places that you discovered potsherds among the soil. I knew it to be true, and yet somehow, what you found still fills me with wonder. I may only hope that our condition improves here, so that I may tour this valley and see these sights for myself. Thank you, Beriathan. Far away?
Greetings and good fortune.
Yeah, that's better. Alright. There we go. One quick picture of this guy's here. And we're ready now to continue our path to Erebor. I think we can even cancel this Calabrazan quest, because I don't see us doing the Scourges of the North anytime soon. Soon, I hope. But not yet. Alright, back on the main road. Ah. Here you can see Erebor in the distance, of course. What a nice view of the Dwarven Kingdom. Saggy page. Wait. Ah. Here.
And then the dragon came. Fire and ruin did smaug rain on Dale and Erebor, for he had set his heart upon the riches under the mountain.
Now, I think, yeah, there are some ruins in here. These ruins are called Westtoft. There's a Sagi page in here. Okay.
Long ago, there lived a simple archer named Broda. One day, he came across the dwarf king Thror, beset by orcs, and with his arrows, saved the dwarf king's life.
Interesting. Anything else noteworthy here? seems not. We're almost done with the Northmen Lost lore. Shouldn't be long now. In the meantime, let us continue our path, our journey north. Bark paper page. Good.
The Battle of Five Arms, it is called. But there were only two sides in that hour. Elves, men, and dwarves against the throngs of evil. Until the eagles came.
Alright, so I think I missed a couple pages, so I guess I will do some cleanup later on because we are right here in Erebor. Alright, a couple nice pictures of the mountain from up close. A dusty page. Good.
Now, Thror II built anew in Erebor, and Gror, his brother, in the Iron Hills. Our dreams were dead or abandoned. But in time, Smaug the Golden awoke, and to the lonely mountain came.
Yeah, and we know how that ended up. I thought there was supposed to be a dwarf marker in here, but maybe I was confused. Yeah. Well, no matter then. So here we are at Erebor. Oh. Look, Thorin, Billy, and Killy. Amazing. They did such a great job with this. Dusty page. Do you notice some dwarves gathered around the statue? Around which statue? Ah, and the dusty page is actually behind Thorin's own statue. Here.
Many are the enemies of dwarves. Goblins, dwarves, spiders, orcs. But oldest and greatest of our foes, yes. Maybe greater even than Durin's bane, are dragons.
Alright, what do we got here? First of all, Biglund.
Why, my grandson's here.
You there, hold. Do you know anything about this? This mischief? Biglund gestures at the axe locked in the statue. No? If that is the doing of those Stout-axes, then King Thorin shall hear a piece of my mind, and then some. He may trust them, but I do not. Take a look at it for yourself. I am right, am I not? I don't know what to tell you, but I don't think that's it. The old axe is lodged thoroughly in the stone. Is that a rust spot beside it? The axe was the work of Karazgar.
Hear my word.
You tell Biglund that the axe is the work of Karazgar and what little else you know. Never heard that name? I know I would remember if I had. This Karazgar would be from Mordor, or Yamaren's egg, and so are those Stout-axes. Perhaps they know something of this mysterious figure. Why don't you speak to Oruk and learn what you may? And Oruk doesn't say where. Anyway, there are lots of pages in this hall.
In a time of quiet, when the new king, Dain the First, thought all safe, when the men of the Eotheod were off at war, then the dragon struck, and much was lost.
Alright.
Over that cursed necklace, blood was nearly shed that day. Truly it may have come to blood thereafter, had not the dragon come and scattered the dwarves far from Erna.
think we're gonna grab this milestone here. The stable master on the side. Yeah, another park paper page.
To Erebor from Merc we came, armed, righteous, bent on reclaiming what was ours. I do not like to think what might have happened if true enemies had not appeared.
The Cold Drake, Vaethug Wintermind, slayed both King Dain I and his son Fror. Their great kingdom was lost, and we fled again, tears in our eyes, to return north no more.
Okay, I think that's it for the pages outside Erebor. No, not yet, not quite. Cool. We'll enjoy that. Althi is not alone. Gandalf stands nearby and beckons to you. Yeah, just a moment, please. I'm here on lore collecting duty.
Where dwarves toil tirelessly, dragons sleep. What dwarves have mined and wrought, dragons steal. What dwarves barter and bestow, dragons hold. Truly, they are our natural foes. And like all of dwarfkind's greatest sorrows, the curse of dragons was brought on by ourselves, and cost us all we dreamed and held most dear.
How I love the ringing of dwarf hammers!
Ah, Pliglin sent you, did he? You tell what you have learned of Karazgar. Ah, the Weeping Warrior, yes, that he is called. One of the Gurshul I never set eyes on, but tales of these wicked deeds are told by the Stout-axes. A cruel assassin, a spy, and a tamer of beasts. He enslaved dragons for the Dark Lord, it is said.
Greetings, friend!
What did you say your name was again? You tell Otto your name. Ah, that's the one. Gimli, son of Gloin, asks for you by name. He has gone before the king under the mountain, and wishes for you to join him at once. He said it was a matter of great urgency, but would tell me no more of it. I wonder if it has anything to do with all those short-bearded dwarves that returned with him. That is not a matter for me, I think. You'd best not keep King Thorin and Gimli waiting.
You know Gandalf! How fortunate he has arrived!
How fortunate for my people that he has come to investigate his decline in our craft skill.
At last you arrive. I have been waiting for some time.
Althi arrived before you did, and he told me all about your exploits in Lake Town. Perhaps if you spent less time carousing at taverns and more time riding, you would not have kept me waiting so long in the cold. The wizard's tongue is gruff, but his eyes sparkle merrily. You and Althi are not the only recent arrivals to the Lonely Mountain. You will find a number of old friends inside, each of them brought hither from concern. Find them on the way to the throne in the hall under the mountain, and you may learn their purpose matches our own. One more thing, Beriathan. In this land, I am known as Gandalf and not Mithrandir. Let it not confuse you. Absolutely not. I actually enjoy a lot how Gandalf's name keeps changing as we go to different places. So in Brilland, he was Mithrandir, Ravenhill 2. But in Gondor and Rohan, I believe too, he was Mithrandir. Now he's Gandalf back again. He's a nice little detail if you ask me. And now the place we're going, you already know. We have already been there, but we have not entered through this door in here. The hall under the mountain. That's where we were headed all along. So here we are. Okay, yeah, we got this treasury box. Steadfast cooldown. I mean, I like the idea of that treasury. And considering Warden doesn't have that many useful treasuries, I think it's even good to use, but not at that item level. It's very hard to see and everything. But There's a Dusty page in here. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And who are you?
Now much of Skatha's hoard was taken from Durin's folk, and so a messenger was sent to the men of the Eotheon, begging our share.
Alright, we will get the full story when we complete that lost lore, but something really important, really interesting too, is that we are now listening to this side of the story from the dwarf's perspective about Skatha's gold, but we will also get a chance of hearing the story from the other side, from the Eotheot's perspective, later on in the mists of Anduin, I believe. It's a really cool storyline as well. And it's nice to see how these two complement each other.
Stay a moment. Hear my words.
Hail friend, here for a brass ingot? I can smelt you one right away. I will need you to choose 1 ore of copper and 1 of calamine from the table here.
We are dwarves and the folk of Durin.
Malmi takes the ore from you. You watch as he swiftly transforms the rocks into a bar of pure metal. He hands it to you. Since this is part of a gift for the Master of Laketown, I will not charge you for my services. Give her my own regards and tell her Laketown has friends in Erebor. Rista. That's in Dale? Yeah, Rista is in Dale. So we're not doing that yet, but... No, I remember now. I want to grab a stack of these rusted scimitars, as we can turn this in with reputation for the dwarves of Erebor, and we'll do that as soon as we get close to a task board.
Again we fled the dragon's wrath, and this time came to Erebor, a lonely mountain. But the great Skatha wakened, wandered far and wide, troubling all.
I'm sure there's gotta be lots more of pages. Yeah, park paper page in here.
After the battle, the dragon's hoard was divvied up, and though I would have forfeited all our share for it, the Gwariamir went not to elves, but to men.
And a dusty page in here. It's amazing.
It was a man, Fram, son of Frumgar, chief of the Eotheon, who ended the dragon Skatha. A great deed to echo through the ages, and the dragon's hoard as prize.
Okay, another dusty page in here. Yeah, there's a lot.
The tale of Smaug and Erebor, and how upon Thorin Oakenshield's return, Smaug woke and was slain, is well enough known in these times. I will say only, let this be the last dragon, and last of our sorrows.
A number of Thorin Oakenshield's surviving companions have come to Erebor. Dori!
My travels do not bring me home very often.
Warden made me the mountain's chief hoard seeker. I am often away wandering in the wilderness in search of lost dwarf vaults and treasure caches. Many are the gold and jewels I have found to swell Erebor's treasuries, but the fading craft skill of my people means they languish within, unimproved and unused. It is a terrible pity. Should the Arkenstone be taken from the tomb of Thorin? Would that restore the craft skill of my people and enable them to create great works such as they did of old? I once thought so, but I set aside that belief when my younger brother Ori departed with Balin. The argument filled me with sadness, and I had a job to do. I could not dwell upon grief. Perhaps the decline of my people could not be prevented, Arkenstone or no. I am pleased to see my friends and kinsmen, but I do not think we can recapture our glories of old.
It has been some time since we have all gathered here.
It does my heart good to see my friends and distant kin, despite the worries that drew us here. I wish my brother was with us. Gwolin sighs heavily. Balin believed, as did many good dwarves, that it had been a mistake for the Arkenstone to be entombed with Thorin. He thought the heart of the mountain should be proudly displayed for all to see, and its brilliance would inspire great works of craft and beauty. As the craft skill of Durin's folk began to wane, the research Balin conducted convinced him that sealing away the Arkenstone was to blame. He quarreled with Dain on the matter, and his disagreement caused the king to remove him as counselor. It was the last injury and compelled Balin to leave. He took Ori and Oin, as well as many other dwarves, and they sought to reclaim the ancient dwarf home of Khazad-dûm. I did not side with my brother in this. I remained loyal to Dain. He elevated me to my position as steward of Thorin's Hall. But not a day passes where I do not miss my brother and wonder if I should have gone with him. But now Balin is gone and Khazad-dûm is lost.
I prefer when things are simple.
I prefer when things are simple, Beriathan. Should we not have entombed the Arkenstone with Thorin? It seemed the right course back then, and no one argued against it. If the craft skill of my people is fading, who is to say it would be any different if the Arkenstone were not sealed away? Let the wise beards discuss it among themselves. Balin believed the Arkenstone should be removed from Thorin's tomb, and he was the wisest of us. But he is dead. Now, this Weeping Warrior, that is a subject more to my liking. I say we find him, let our axes and hammers do the talking, and give him something to cry about. Nice and simple. It may not solve everything, but I wager it would not hurt. Not us, anyway. Yeah, I like you, glowing. I like how you think. It's good to see old friends reunited. How many people, how many dwarves from Thorin's company remain? Thorin, Fili, and Killy died. Balin, Ori, and Oin died. And here we have Duolin, Dori, and Glowing. We're missing Nori, Bifur, and Bofur, and Bombur. Well, Bifur and Bombur, Bifur and Bofur are the fathers of Bosi and Brogur. So, Bosi and Brogur, Bori and... Oh my god, I always confuse them both. But, well, you know, the dwarves that we met during the Mines of Moria epic, they are the descendants of Bifur and Bofur, so it's safe to assume they are both alive. And Bombur, we already saw on the Dwarf Allegiance episode.
I do not know what has caused this decline, but I see some possibilities.
I do not know what has caused this decline in the craft skill of Durin's folk, Beriathan. Neither do I know whether entombing the Arkenstone with Thorin Oakenshield is to blame for it, but my suspicion is that it is not. There is another possibility, and in it I see the workings of our enemy. What if the Arkenstone has been taken from the tomb of Thorin without the knowledge of the dwarves? It may be that the Arkenstone no longer lies with Thorin Oakenshield, and its departure has adversely affected the skills of Durin's folk. The tomb must be opened, Beriathan, if we are to ensure the Arkenstone remains within. We must ask King Thorin III for permission to do this. Yeah, can you imagine? I don't see the dwarves being particularly thrilled about opening a tomb, especially one as important as Thorin's, but we'll see. We are almost there to ask. Dusty page, I know it. Just a moment. You have found Gimli standing patiently before King Thorin's throne.
Time went, and our dreams of the north would not die. So yet again, in the days of Thorin I, to the grey mountains we ventured again.
Alright, there's another page there. We'll take it in just a moment. It is time we spoke to King Thorin about the Stout-axes, don't you think? Let's get on with it, Beriathan. New deed, quests of Erebor. How many do we need? Here. 15 of them. It's gonna be really short. Well then, Gimli approaches King Thorin III and begins to speak. Hail, Thorin III, King under the mountain. I come before you today to ask for your wisdom and mercy. In my adventures beyond the Black Gate of Mordor, I discovered a clan of dwarves known as the Stout-axes. They are a hardy folk, but they have been beset by tragedy at many turns. They have lost their ancestral home, much as we of Durin's folk have in the past, and they have suffered under the Dark Lord and his servants. Their leader of old, King Greattooth, succumbed to what power lingered in the rank once wielded by the greatest kings of the dwarves, and led the remainder of his folk down a dark path to ruin. The Stout-axes were thus sundered, but I have come north with those who survived, and they did not lose hope that kindness could be found beyond the mountains of Mordor. Their number is small, and they have no home beyond these lands. I beg you, King Thorin, offer them a place among us, and they will offer their knowledge, compassion, and skill to Durin's folk. Gimli finishes speaking and looks to King Thorin. Gimli, son of Gloin, I have known your father and your family for many years. I have heard your words, and I will bear my judgment. As you well know, the Dale lands are filled with refugees of the East, and among them, the unfortunate cousins of the hated Jangovar. Regardless of their heritage, I see their plight for what it is. I trust your words, Gimli, and I would not deny those oppressed by Mordor. The Stout-axes shall have shelter within Erebor and be welcome as friends of Durin's folk. However, these are difficult times. Sacrifices have been made by each of the kingdoms of the north, and more still will have to be made before we have sealed the yields of the war. If the Stout-axes are to dwell among us, they must earn their place among our folk and share their knowledge of the enemy and the lands beyond. You may inform the Stout-axes that they have found a new home in Erebor, but see to it that they offer their skills to all in need. Ha! It is as I hope, Beriathan. Ambassador Spackworth and his folk will be so grateful. They will understand what a king of the dwarves ought to be. Now then, as for earning their place... I must admit, Beriathan, I had begun to worry that King Thorin would not see the need for Durin's folk to welcome the Stout-axes. I am pleased that he has proven to be as merciful and wise as King Thorin. Ambassador Spackworth and the rest of his folk have traveled far to stand in the shadow of the lonely mountain, and in time, I am certain they will come to see it as the Longbeards do. Aid Ambassador Spackworth and his folk in earning their place in Erebor. It is the least we can do for them after what they have lost. And now for the Black Book.
Can Gandalf combat this worrying decline in our craft skill?
I am as concerned as any of my people about this worrying decline in the skill of the artisans. But I do not know what can be done about it. Dying before me also did not have a solution. Do you and Gandalf have a suggestion, Beriathan? I am willing to hear any proposal, but I am not confident any solution can be found.
You wish to open the tomb of Thorin Oakenshield?
And ensure the Arkenstone remains within? None could approach the tomb without our knowledge, Beriathan, and yet, even as I speak these words, I am gripped with uncertainty. If the heart of the mountain has been taken, it might explain the diminishment of our craft skill. The king under the mountains strokes his beard thoughtfully. Yes, Beriathan. We should learn if the Arkenstone still lies within the tomb or if some enemy has taken it. I alone cannot give you leave to open the tomb of Thorin Oakenshield, though I am king under the mountain and possess lordship of all that lies within. I would not be proper to open Mazala Kraz without the permission of Thorin's sister, Dis. Her children also lie in that place, and I would not have the rest or that of her brother disturbed without her leave. She is the keeper of Ravenhill, Beriathan, and that is where you will find her. Speak to her and learn if she will allow the tomb to be opened. Yeah, a Tangle of Tales, it's not a quest that we should be doing right now. So we're gonna leave that for later. Now, listen here, Beriathan, and listen close. Thorin Oakenshield's sister Dis is very old, and she is unlikely at first to be very accommodating to our request. She will look more favorably upon it, I expect, if she were to see the familiar faces of Thorin's old friends and companions, but not all at once. Such a crowd will set her ill at ease, and she will not allow the intrusion. I think there may be a way. I am reminded of an old trick that was of use to me during the quest of Erebor, when Smaug still lived, his stolen hoard unrecovered. I will let the remaining dwarves of Thorin's company know my plan. For your part, speak to these and be as friendly and as helpful as you may. And if you are familiar with the book, you will know what Gandalf plans to do, and it's a lot of fun seeing it in action. You can tell the Dips had a lot of fun creating that quest as well, and playing with that little Easter egg too.
Some may say I am cautious, or old and weary, but still I say, let us dream no more dreams that may bring ruin on Durin's folk. Let dragons sleep, and dwarves toil fruitfully where they dwell. The work of our hands suffice.
Work paper page. But it's on the upper level. Here's what we're gonna do. I think Ambassador Spackworth is here. with Nath and Reddy. So we're gonna grab these quests before we grab the page. Hail, Beriathan! What did King Thorin have to say? You explained that King Thorin has welcomed the Stout-axes to dwell within Erebor, but he also wishes for the Stout-axes to contribute to Durin's folk in return to his mercy. I am overwhelmed. Such kindness has never been given to my folk, and the terms he has offered are more than fair. To live and work among the dwarves of Erebor would be an honor. I have heard that many of the dwarves of Erebor are fond of crafting the mountain itself. If you were to gather loose stones from the slopes of Erebor, our rune carvers could shape them into rune stones for the king and his folk. Gather as many as you can, bear, and bring them to our rune carvers. They will know what to do. And that reminds me. I think the dwarves of Durin's folk would benefit from the skills of our smiths. I know that many of them still wish to rest from the journey, but we must prove our worth to King Thorin. Convince them to go to the forges and work amongst the dwarves of Erebor, and I will see to it that they do not toil to exhaustion. Hail! What news have you from Ambassador Spackworth? You explained that King Thorin has asked the Stout-axes for their aid in return for granting them a new home in Erebor. King Thorin is a very generous dwarf indeed. I will send as many Stout-axes as I can, but a few of our number have taken ill from the long journey to the north. We were beset by heavy rains before we arrived, and our cloaks were drenched. I do not know if that is the source of their ailments, but it did not help. If you could, bring their warm cloaks to them. I left our cloaks by several of the forges and fires in the hall, so they should not be hard to find. Also, I think they could do with a healing draught or two, if you understand my meaning. Thank you, Beriathan. You have done so much for us. I hope we can return your kindness one day. Greetings, Beriathan. Can you believe this place? It still seems a dream to me. What can I do for you? You explained that King Thorin has asked the Stout-axes for their aid in return for granting them a new home in Erebor. Well, that is a bit of a coincidence. I sent out several of our number to hunt the beasts of the north. It seemed to me that we should fill our own food stores, and we Stout-axes are more than capable of a simple hunt. However, your aid would still be most welcome. Bring me as many cuts of boar meat and venison as you can. Okay. Okay, we're gonna start by picking the quote-unquote healing rods. I'm sure the Stout-axes will appreciate the gesture. And maybe we can have a drink with them. And we can also look for some of the cloaks that were left to dry. Is that one of the Stout-axes meats? Yeah. It is a strange thing to know such comfort. For King Thorin's kindness, it is the least I can do. And there he goes to the forges. Godspeed. I'll see if I can send you some healing rods your way. Ah, I see. We shall have to finish this conversation another time, my new friend. There it goes. Now... Bark paper page. That's what I was looking for.
On just such a peace-weaving visit, did I come to Thror's mountain halls. The feast was set, words of courtesy prepared, and then he stood. Whereupon his breast I saw the Gwagged, gleaming green and gold.
Alright, so we're only missing one page for the Elven Lost Lore, and I think I know what that one is. So we have not reached that location yet, but we will. Eventually. Ah, there's a dusty page in here too. That's great.
What was their reply? A necklace made of Skatha's teeth and nothing more. This was the final dragon's curse. A sickness of greed that turns those who should be allies into foes.
And we're missing 3 pages for the dwarves. That sounds great. I think we should get that done as well. There is no end to the riches of Erebor. Let us see what new works can be forged. Healing Rod. Ah, but it's down below, it seems. Okay. Stout-axe cloak should also be down below. Okay, yeah. I see the stairs, the way down. Because there's also another quest on this side. Oh, God, I missed it. Yeah, Snallar.
Stay a moment. Hear my words.
Have you a moment? In just 2 days, I've lost nearly 12 barrels of ale to thieves. It's always the same. I find the barrel emptied with a great big hole bored into the bottom of it. There is treachery afoot here, and I think those dreaded cave claws are to blame again. Always sticking their noses where they don't belong. Knock on some of the barrels and give them a fright. That ought to drive them off. And maybe I should have picked that one up before exploring these holes, but anyway. 5 more. Yeah, take your time. Not in a hurry. With a sudden crash, an ale-soaked kick claw breaks out of one of the barrels. So I would expect that kick claw to be drunk, so that's not much of a threat. Deliver healing draughts and cloaks to alien Stout-axes? Sure. Oh ho, it has been nice speaking to you, fine dwarves, but the forges await. Yeah, it's like a field day for them, it seems. You hear the calm, familiar slash of ale within this barrel. Alright, so there's 5 barrels that you check on this side, the other 5 are on the other side. Some of them are on the lower level, some of them are on the upper level. If you know where to look for them, it's not that tricky. And luckily, well, I already have a path for this. It's unorthodox as well too, but it works. Now there's another quest in here. I wasn't planning on doing this, but now that we are at this point, let us see. A tome rests on this bench, left behind by someone. It seems ancient, like it might just turn to dust if handled too roughly. Several pages have been torn out and are missing. A poem is written on the page that was left open. Beneath the misty mountains deep, the ancient shadows hold their keep. Came King Durin, his crown of stars, to carve new halls, claim kingdom ours. Above the dwarf-made forges glow, while unknown dangers lurk below. For many thousand years it slept in darkened depths where fell things crept. And then one day the stone was found, dark as night and perfectly round. Its beauty beckons but a glance, but ensnares the mind in a trance. Many were lost, driven insane, and then we unearthed Durin's bane. From Moria the Longbeards flee, in hand the stone that should not be. By King Thorin's orders it is sealed, by a secret door never revealed. Just the line of Durin may know, of secret stone born of shadow. Heed this warning, do not seek it, this fell thing you cannot outwit. The stone must remain locked away, do not seek the hidden doorway. King Thorin III is in the line of Durin. Perhaps he would be willing to share more about this secret stone. What was the tome that we... this old tome. Collect the dusty tome. So, I think we can leave that for later, because that is its own thing and it's a long quest line. So I'm just gonna leave that quest on my tracker so that I remember to do it. But I'm gonna take a break on that one. No, these are the 5 barrels on this side. As you see, not all the barrels have cape claws inside. You only gotta make sure that you check them all. I don't remember if the cape claws are random or if they have fixed locations, but either way, we just need to check. Can you believe such works exist? Do not worry, I will go to the fortress in a moment. Thank you. Alright, this is nothing in there. Okay, there he comes. Now, my method is unorthodox because after I get this barrel, I just do this. You don't die. It hurts a lot, but you don't die. Now we keep looking for the remainder 2 barrels. Yeah, it hurt a lot, but you don't die. It's painful, but you don't die. And we're missing 2 more Stout-axes smiths. I would love to find those 2 before the end of today's episode. I think we have just enough time for that. For the barrels, the healing rods, and the alien dwarves, and the missing smiths. I don't know if it's faster to just come down from the stairs and reach the bottom of the room again, because you get a 1-minute injury if you make that jump, but I prefer it that way. It seems faster to me. Here we have the alien Stout-axes, so this one is also really short and easy. Thank you, friend. Yeah, I didn't mention it. You deserve some rest after such a journey. You have done well to aid the alien Stout-axes in Erebor and ease the ills of their long journey north from Mordor. And we can take... Yeah, let us take this. Yeah, I missed a lot of bonus rep for not refreshing my tome there. What a shame, especially because the Dwarves of Erebor, that's the faction that needs the most reputation out of those 3.
Stay a moment. Hear my word.
Greedy little borrowers, that lot. Well, that ought to teach them not to meddle with our ales. And to think I'd consider requesting new barrels made of iron. Ah, it would turn my finest beers to swill. Now, 2 more Stout-axe smiths, if you would, please. Before I leave the hole under the mountain, give me 2 more smiths. It's all I'm asking for. Can you please do that for me? I'm actually thinking I should be writing a code. Walking in this place. A lot of work. In the meantime, we can check this item that we got. Let's see if we can find the remainder. Smiths, please. The thing is, I don't see any more rings on the minimap. I'm not sure if I'm not looking where I need it to be. Where they are. Or I'm missing something else. And before the gates of Erebor, yeah, not as much. So it seems I'm just losing my time here. Let us go to the gates of Erebor and talk to these dwarves before the end of the episode. Now, where is that armor piece I just got? I don't see it. Ah, there it is. So it's an increase of more than 250 agility, an increase in vitality, an increase in physical mastery, in light of Ravenhill, yeah. Yeah, that's better. Now, okay. Here is one smith. They say a great battle took place here, but I cannot see even a scratch. And the last one. Are Durin's folk also noble? I will serve them proudly. As Ambassador Spackard asked, you have sent many of the dwarves, the Stout-axes mates, to the forges of Erebor. They will now aid the dwarves of Durin's folk by sharing their knowledge of crafting and helping them to delve deeper into the Lonely Mountain. Yeah, and take a look at that. Friend to the dwarves, completed, known to the dwarves of Erebor. Anyway, we got a deed, and that's great. So let us check this before we end for today. We were able to just hit it, that's amazing. Did bestowed with friend, did completed, known, just the points and the title. You have reached acquaintance status with the dwarves of Erebor, yeah, and 5 LOTRO points. So I think we did pretty good today. I'm gonna leave it in here. I'm gonna do some tasks off camera to increase my rep a little bit more, but that will be it for today's episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.